That'll be $15.
Don't worry about it. I got you. And don't forget, God got us out. You welcome. I was the bridge to your problems, but y'all took me for granted. We traumatized in the hood, dog. Look at the damage. I've been grinding my whole life. I ain't nothing like you. It's 24 hours in the day. You ain't got nothing to do. I sacrificed my show money just to bring y'all around. Y'all was holding me back instead of holding me down. Y'all be talking behind my back, but in my face, you my brother. But you'll never know my pain until you lose your mother. This whole industry is fake. I wish we spent more time. I blew the brains out the coop. That mean I lost my mind. My reality is I can dictate my salary. Think about it. Only bad came to those who challenged me. Yeah, Jesus walks and Jesus wept. He walking with me. I see the steps. The pandemic came. We barely made it through. I'm a living testimony of what God can. When your pockets get low and your bills stacking up, and the hours that you put in, it ain't add up. God got us on, man. God got us on. I've been there. I've done that. The battle with the devil, I won that. 'Cause God got us on, man. God got us on. To all the people in Jackson, Mississippi with bad water, I just sent a truckload of clean H2O. God got us when it feel like adversity start to win. They say when you rap about God, it take away from your spin. Okay, well I hope it take away from my sins. I'm signed to me, so my whole record label go win. One of my partners going through it, I'm gonna show them the way. And when I help, this ain't the type of stuff I throw in your face. I got a gift they love flip, cause I done carried the cross. I'm watching out for Jezebels trying to marry the boss. My granny had me in the church, I praise God for work. And I don't claim to be perfect, I still get my dirt. Yeah, Jesus walks and Jesus loves. The guns down, you need a hug. Protect your mental health and bring inner wealth. God protect you from these demons. I need you when your pockets get low and your bills stacking up, and the hours that you put in, it ain't add up. God got us on, man. God got us on. I've been there, I've done that. The battle with the devil, I won that. 'Cause God got us on, man. God got us on. I know he got us. What's that, Instagram? You're out over there. No more, no showing tomorrow. You get your check on Friday. That's it. Every day, every way, God's got us all. Oh, yeah. I know he got us all. Each and every day, I know he got us all. God got us all. Ooh, oh, yeah.
Yeah. What up? It's the man about town, Virgil Beer, a.k.a. Stacks with the Facts. And you already know y'all tuned in to Real Talk Podcast, Christmas Day edition. What it do, y'all? Merry goddamn it Christmas, man. What's going on with y'all, man? How y'all doing today, man? My man XL Pro in the building before I'm even in here. What's good with you, brother? You know, how everybody doing, man? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things going on for 2023 coming in. You're telling me real ones. We coming to take this shit over, man. You hear me? Just know y'all gonna see the reemergence. You know what I'm saying? The reemergence, the rebirth. You know what I'm talking about? The real ones, man. We coming to take this YouTube shit over in 2023. And it's a beautiful thing, man. How y'all doing tonight, man? Christmas Day. Don't even feel like Christmas, man, but it's the Christmas Day nonetheless, and we're going to get straight to it. Yiddy. What's good with y'all, man? Y'all like that joint right there? Y'all heard that new joint by my man, Lil Flipperachi? Always believed in Flip. Always knew was a fan of him since he first came out, and he pimped Sony for $22 million. You know what I'm talking about? He's managed to keep himself relevant and prevalent. You know what I'm saying? And he's still making fire music. And I like that song by him right there because it's a beautiful song. It's an inspirational song. And it's perfectly fitting for today's topic and today's show, especially on today, December 25th, right? So-called Christmas. And as y'all see, today's show is called The Spiritual Roots of Christmas, featuring my pops, man. You know what I'm saying? And we just wait for him to come on up in the building. We waiting for him to come up in the building. Let me just go ahead and do this real quick. Just hold on real quick. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful song by the homie Lil Flip, you know what I'm saying? Flipperachi, you know what I mean? Like I said, I've always been a fan of Lil Flip since back in the day when he first came out. You know what I'm saying? And I just like to see the progress. I like to see the growth. You know what I'm saying? I like to see that man kept himself relevant over all these years, you know what I'm saying? And he's fully independent. And like I said, I got hella respect for Flip just for the simple fact he pimped Sony. He pimped Sony. 22 million. Y'all go do your research on Lil Flip, man. He pimped the shit out of Sony Records, man. Took their ass up top. You know what I'm talking about? Took their ass up top for that 22 mil. Hold on real quick, y'all.
I'm getting all like the material, like, you know, just getting it all up to date and updated.
Right.
And we got a big back warehouse space though that I ain't figured out what I'm gonna do everything with.
All right.
And I know podcast was something we discussed, man.
Yeah.
So I'll keep you posted.
Okay, no doubt. You make sure you do that, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. You have a beautiful evening.
Yep, same to you.
All right, brother.
All right, my G. Go.
Yeah, so you already know, man, that was one of my guys right there, man. He just got him a new building, opened up his own private practice, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Like I told y'all, man, 2023 is going to be a big situation, man. We're going to be at the H-Lofts periodically. I'm in the talks with my brother right there and other people. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have professional setup in the studio. You know what I'm saying? We got my Pops in right now. What's wrong with the camera, Pops?
Son, I just got through hitting it. I'm still coming in. It's moving.
Okay.
I should be popping up in a minute.
All right. Well, whenever your camera come on, we're going, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get straight to it, though. But yeah, man, I'm going to drop you back out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I mean, y'all, man. This Sunday, it's Christmas Day. We're going to get straight to it. You know what I'm saying? How everybody doing tonight, man? How did y'all like last night's shows, man? Lance Parker, what it do, man? You know what I'm saying? We got my man Lance Parker in the building. We got XL Pro in the building where everybody else at. Come on, tap in this week. Y'all know it's going to be a beautiful show tonight, man. It's Christmas Day. Spiritual Roots Sunday, the spiritual roots of Christmas. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into it. What y'all know about Saturnalia? Huh? Yeah, we're going to get into it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let my pop guide the ship tonight because you know what I'm saying, how he do it. You know what I'm saying? He's more well-versed in the scriptures than I am, so it's only right that we let him be the navigator, and I'm going to just go ahead and polish up what need to be polished up. Pause. You know what I'm talking about? We getting straight to it. What's good with y'all, man? Make sure y'all meet and greet each other as y'all come up in here like how Lance Parker did, man. My brother Lance Parker, what it do, man? You know what I'm talking about? 2023 is almost here, y'all. It's been a very eventful year, if I do say so myself. You know, a lot of things transpired this year, especially here recently. And you know what I'm saying, man, 2023 is going to be a hell of a year. It's going to be the year of the real. You know what I'm saying? So y'all get prepared and get ready for it, man, because we ain't playing no games, man. All the real ones linking up, joining forces, and we about to take this YouTube shit over, man. You hear me? All fakery and fuckery will be exposed in 2023, and we ain't having it. You can't come on here talking that fake shit no more, man. We ain't going. You gotta be real or be nothing at all. You know what I'm talking about? So y'all make sure y'all tighten up on y'all's content, man. A lot of y'all's non-content creators. You know what I'm saying? Keep that. I coined that phrase, man. Remember, y'all heard it first. Virgil Berry, Stacks with the Facts, April Talk Podcast. You know what I'm talking about? Non-content creating ass niggas. Yeah, it sure is. It ain't got nothing to do with YESHUA. I'm telling you that right now. In the scriptures, it said that YESHUA was born around the time of the harvest. That means sometime between September and November, nowhere near the end of December. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to who was actually born on December 25th. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get to that. You can best believe we're going to get to that. You know what I'm saying? We got my pops in the queue, but I'm waiting for his camera to pop up. You know what I'm saying? I can hear him with the audio, but I can't see him with the visuals. You know what I'm saying? So whenever his, you know, there you go right there. Oh, it was just coming in, Pops. There you go. All right, I can see you now. I can see you now, man. I can see you right now. I can't hear you right now, but I can see you. Just give me a couple seconds. I'm going to bring you on in, man. You know what I'm talking about, man. What's good with y'all, though, man? How y'all day been before, man? Y'all been celebrating the day with y'all's family and loved ones, man? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, it's been a pretty relaxed day for me, man. I just been chilling, man, to be honest with you, man. You know, I really don't celebrate this holiday for real. And you asked me this holiday right here, or should I say this holiday right here is the most disrespectful one, if you ask me. Even more so than Easter or Christmas. Or Halloween. You know what I'm saying? I think Christmas is the most disrespectful holiday that is allegedly celebrated in the honor and of YESHUA, but really is not. Because like I said, man, and I'm pretty sure my dad can confirm this, man, YESHUA wasn't born on December 25th. If I'm correct, the scripture said that he was born sometime around the harvest. Is that correct, Pops? You feel me? And I know the harvest, especially in that region of the world, is sometime between September and November. You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly what day, because it never really said in the scriptures exactly what date YESHUA was born on, but it did say he was born around the time of the harvest. It definitely said that. So the very fact that we sit here through the Nicene Council, they're the one that implemented this edict of December 25th, and we're going to get to who was actually born on December 25th. So we ain't going to waste no time. Pops, what it do, man?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you and we can see you. We live in the building, man.
All right. That's what we're talking about. Well, good evening, YouTube family. How we doing this evening? I'm like my son. I don't get into Christmas like the rest of the world do, but I'll just say happy holidays to you. I'll put it that way, since it is the holiday season. I hope everyone is out there having a good evening. I wish well to you and yours. can't knock anybody who want to celebrate this because everybody do their own thing, you know. The main important thing is knowing the reason why that Christ came into the world, you know. They take the holidays and they use it, you know, like I said in my message tonight, and my topic is, you know, my son talking about what our topic is, that the spiritual roots of Christmas. My message is that the commercialism of Christmas, you know, and the message is don't be as the heathens. And I have scriptures to back all this up. So as we get into the podcast, you'll understand and you'll see why that my topic and my subject and my message comes along as it does, you know. And hopefully I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, me or my son. We're not trying to bust anybody's bubbles about Christmas and the holidays, but, you know, the truth will set you free, like I always say, you know. And you have to understand to celebrate Christ's birth, you know, and not Christmas, you know,
Right.
not the commercialism that goes with it, you know. That's why I stopped celebrating Christmas, is because it's not really about Christ. They just use Christ. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said it's a commercialism thing, you know. So as we get into the podcast, like I said, you know, we're going to reveal and we're going to unfold and we're going to go into a little bit into the rabbit hole. Like we said, I'm not trying to discourage anybody else from their beliefs, you know, but it is what it is, you know.
You're breaking up a little
So,
bit. You're breaking up a little
I'm
bit.
breaking up. Oh,
Just keep going. You good?
okay. Can you hear me all right now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Now, if I was doing my research about this because I was telling my son when I called him the other day about what our podcast was going to be about. I was going to do it about the new year, saying that, you know, which we're going to do that next week. And I was referring to about a new beginning, you know, old things out with the old and in with the new, you know. And my son said, no, let's do one about Christmas, since it's Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, you know. He said, let's do that. And then we can do that one about the new year next Sunday, which would be a new year. I said, well, that even sounds even better, you know. We never tried to dispute against each other about anything that we discuss, you know, because me and my son, we are so much in one sync with each other, you know, that it's not that we don't so much bump heads, because we don't bump heads, you know. We just have different agreements, and so we just put it on the table and we discuss it, you know, and we let truth reveal. You know what I'm saying? It's not about him trying to prove anything to me or me trying to prove anything to him. It's not about he's right or I'm right, he's wrong or I'm wrong, you know. We like the truth, you know, and that's what we deal with, you know. That's what me and him, we get along so well, you know what I'm saying? I'm so glad that my son and I are now back into each other's lives, you know. That's another story, like I said, we'll get into later on up the road, but, you know, I'm glad he chose this topic, you know, because it will shed some light on a lot of things, you know, and people need to be woken up. You know, it's time to wake up. You know what I'm saying? Not just to step up to the plate, but also to wake up to what is going on in the real world, you know. So we're going to get right on into it right now. My main topic and my subject, like I said, is the spiritual roots of Christmas. We're going to be coming out of Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, at the first verse, and I'll read it to you real quick, and then we'll move on from there. It says that in Jeremiah, it says, learn not the way of the heathens. See, Christ, he referred to the people as the heathens, okay? And he says, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. Now, when I read this, I didn't understand at first what he was talking about, but then the Holy Spirit revealed to me that he's talking about astrology, because that's what the stars is all about. That's where they come up with the 12 zodiac signs, okay? So he was also telling his people, do not be like the heathens, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, saying how. Now listen to this, YouTube family. This is in the word of God. I'm not making none of this up. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, seeing how they cut down a tree out of the forest, and deck it with silver and gold, fasten it with nails using hammers, that it move not. That's in Jeremiah. Now, if that's not talking about Christmas and a tree and decorating, what is that referring to, YouTube family? Virgil Sr. didn't just make this up. I read this directly from out of the Word of God. And if you got your word with you, look it up and you'll see it, and you'll see that it said the same thing what I just read off to you. As I began to do my homework and start going into it, I noticed how he used the word heathens. And when I did a breakdown on that, heathens is that he was referring to, now this is what heathens is, okay? Heathens, first of all, it's a Hebrew word, plural, meaning goyim, Goyum. I think my son hit on something like that of that word in some area dealing with dynamic forces and stuff, okay? That all nations of the world, he said the Jews was forbidden to be associated with them in any way. Idolatry. I got a revelation on really what idolatry really is, okay? A lot of people think it has something to do with, they get it mixed up with adultery. But that's not what it means, okay? But anyway, okay. And for it was the practice of these nations, it meant image worshiping of any created object. The word, what we call fetish or fetishism, a form of sexual defiance and involuntary of sexual acts. I'll let you grab that a little bit, because that's what it says. That's what it means. Okay. And when he was referring to the nations of the world, he was talking about all the rest of mankind, the Gentiles, which excluded us, which we were a part of at that time, you know. Then it got into the other different nations or races of people in the world at that time also that was into all that stuff that he was telling them not to associate themselves with. God didn't want his people to be a part of anything that had to do with the rest of mankind, because his people were the only people that were singled out for God to use to do what he wanted to do in bringing his son into the earth later on up the road, okay? His people began to start interacting with what at that time they were called the heathens, you know. They were taking on their ways and their practices and their beliefs, you know. And God didn't want his people to get into that because it was defiling them, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't have any intentions on them getting caught up into any of their cultures, you know, because it wasn't a part of what God was about, you know. And it basically what he didn't want them to beginning to take on the likeness of the Gentiles at that time. So he was very much against it, you know. So apparently they must have picked up this spirit to where they start getting into the various different habits and the ways of the heathens, you know, to where that he spoke to Jeremiah to have Jeremiah to speak to them to tell them, you know, do not be like the heathens, you know. They're stargazers. That's what it meant when he said that do not look and study the heavens, you know. See, astrology started way back then, all right, that they were studying and then was up under different false gods, you know, when you really get into Greek mythology, you know. That's where a lot of that falls up under, you know, when you get into astrology, tarot card reading, and, you know, and then it went from being to that to also getting into, when you get into dynamic forces, then you're talking about the cult. See, that's how the cult was born, you know, out of stargazing, looking in the heavens at the stars and making all kind of objects and idols, you know, because see, that's where idolatry come from. The word idolatry is really from false idols, you know. False idols are the things that I just said that are created, you know, from inanimate objects, you know. And this is what Jeremiah was telling the people of God, you know, don't get caught up and have the ways and take on the ways of the heathens, you know. Then it also was bringing out when I was sharing with you that how idolatry started when there was the practice of different image worshiping, you know, and created of objects that was created, you know. And you know when people say they have fetishes, you know, this the word that really blew my mind. And when I looked it up and started getting the more different understanding of what fetish is, because you have people that do have different fetishes, you know, foot fetishes, toe fetishes, you know. But then when I found out what the word is, it's like I said before, it's a form of sexual defiance, you know.
Fetish is a branch of fornication.
Fornication, idolatry, adultery, you know, any kind of sexual acts, you know, really using objects, you know. And like I said before, this is where the birth of pornography comes from. Hello? This is the birth of pornography.
Pornography.
So,
hold on real quick, Pop. Pornography, right? Pornography is a derivative of the word fornia, right? Fornication. Fornia is a Latin Vulgate term, right? That basically means witchcraft or sex magic. So when we talk about fornication, pornography,
right,
it's all the same thing.
All the same thing. It all comes out of the same melting pot. All those things that me and my son just spoke about, all that comes from, actually, really, from what I first read about the Christmas tree. Isn't that something? That blows me away. How that so many things seem like they don't have anything to do with anything. And that's what I call a cloak that you cannot see. You know, you might see one thing. Stigo, let my girl in. There's one thing that you might see, but it doesn't show the other many different other things that is also a part of that as well. You know, and it's something how that, and I really I thank God for my son, because my son really exposed this, you know, and it all stems around Christmas, you know. So, babe. So, when I start getting into this, and I'm saying, okay, this starts showing and revealing a lot of more other things than what we know, that we thought that it wouldn't have anything to do with anything of what we're talking about right now, you know, because our main topic was about exposing the true meaning of Christmas and the spiritual roots behind Christmas, you know. Now we done got into a whole lot of other things about astrology, the occult, you know, pornography, you know. Isn't that something? Because all this comes from the heathens, you know. That's what Jeremiah referred to the rest of the world and mankind, you know. They were different races, you know, what he referred to as different nations, but they were still different races. But it was still basically the whole Gentile world, you know, and that's just all the rest of mankind. You know, God always separated his people apart from the rest of mankind. Isn't that something, you know? For him to also at the end of it all, it ends up being that he ends up dying for the sins of the whole world. But when he started in the beginning, all he cared about was just his people. He didn't give one iota about the rest of mankind at that time, you know. And he didn't want his people to be polluted, and that's a good word to use, you know, to be polluted with the rest of mankind. Because he knew what he was planning on doing later on up the world, that he had to have his people cleansed, holy, pure, as much as they could be. You know, that's why he had all the different offerings and sacrifices that his people had to go through. I don't know how much of you people really know about the history and the background of what God did when it all started in the garden and after the fall, that what his plan was, how to bring himself, or the spiritual part of himself that he had put in man when he made Adam in the garden from the beginning, in the last days, in the last day, to usher in back to where that he can retrieve back his spirit, because that's the only thing that is really important to God, you know, is the spirit part of him that he put in Adam in the beginning. And as his plans unfold in the earth and for mankind, he knew all the things that what he was going to have to go through, you know, and retrieving back his spirit from man, you know. So he just let it play itself out with man and in the earth and after the fall. But he also was,
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and he also was keeping his people as separated from the rest of the world as he could. You know, he could have stopped it. He didn't have to let them actually interact with the rest of mankind, you know. But because of, like I said, he's a just God, you know, he's a loving God, you know. He still loved the world through his son, but at the same time, he didn't want to have anything to do with the rest of mankind, only when he had to, because of the fact that man was in the fallen state, you know. And you can't just step up to God in any kind of way, you know. And he knew this. He knew that he had to be separated from man, which when you get back to the garden, it was Adam, because that's who he was fellowshipping with and interacting with in the beginning, was Adam, you know. So he couldn't just totally turn his back on mankind, especially that he created man, you know. And the reason why God don't love man in the way that man love each other, because first of all, man is nothing but dirt. Okay. The physical part of man never was a part of God, or never came from God, you know. He came from the earth, the dirt, just like the rest of everything that he created on the planet when he created earth, okay? So man have always been what man have always been in the eyes of God anyway, and that's just dirt. In fact, that's what he told Adam. He said, from dirt that you came from, he didn't say you came from me, Adam. He said, you came from the dirt that I created. And that's where you going back to, dirt, dirt. Especially what he was saying.
You get dirt. When you do dirt, you get dirt.
You see, so that's why he never really was so wrapped up in man in that aspect. Especially after the fall, and when man began to start multiplying in the earth, you know, then also you have to remember too that the seed of Satan also was multiplying in the earth in flesh, you know. So God not only had to contend and deal with his creation of man being in the fallen state, he also had to deal with Satan's seed in man, also in the earth. And that's something to think about.
It really is. It really is. It puts a lot of perspective. Now, let me go ahead and do this, y'all, right? Because Pops, you know we got to lay foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
We got to lay foundation, y'all. So let's just tap in with me real quick. How many of y'all are familiar with Saturnalia? Right? Now, if y'all pay attention, my man Lance Parker then already sits there and said Saturnalia Fest was very sick, demonic, rainbow, tomboy activity where women were definitely violated, and so were children as well. And this was something that was basically that we get the modern day movies we have called The Purge. Saturnalia was like an ancient form of the Purge. It was a time between December 17th and December 25th of the winter solstice in the Roman Greco Empire, where they would celebrate a week of lawlessness as in representation and celebration of the demon god that it was paying homage to in his son, Saturn. Right? Now, Saturn was known as the eater of children. What y'all know about that? You pull him up. His name was also Saturn. In Greek, his name was Saturn or Kronos. But in Roman, they called him Saturn, right? And he was known as the eater of children, right? There's also mention of a demon god in the Bible named Malak or Moloch or Malek.
Malik.
Right? This is another Moloch or Moloch, Malek or Malek, right? They're all the same demon, different names.
Right, Malek,
you know what I'm saying? But they're all representations or different depictions of Saturn or Kronos or Malak or Malek. If y'all paid attention to the movie Sinister, his name in there was they called him Mr. Something. They called him in that movie, but his name was Vogul. Right? Y'all remember the movie Sinister? Y'all seen that movie? Right? Y'all just watch Sinister, and it was a character in there. They called him. He was the dude in there. His name was Vogul. Right? This is another name for Malek, Moloch, Saturn. You hear me? Kronos. You know what I'm saying? They all are the same demon, just different names. You know what I'm talking about? Don't ever get it twisted, y'all. And this is how they confuse people, man, because they you know what I'm saying, they made people think that these people were somehow, these entities are somehow different. You know what I'm saying? When really they're all the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Mr. Boogie, that's what they called him in the movie Sinister, is the main antagonist in the 2012 horror film Sinister and its sequel in 2015. He is the ancient Babylonian pagan deity who consumes the souls of human children. Right? So when we talk about Christmas, or what we know as Christmas, it was back in the day, it was called Saturnalia, named after Saturn, Cronus, Damon, Greek Roman god, eater of children, right? And they used to have Saturnalia to celebrate him. And on the 25th day of Saturnalia was the culmination of the birth of his son with his wife Semiramis, who is really who the Statue of Liberty really is. Huh? That's what we celebrating on December 25th. We're celebrating the birth of this guy. Let me pull it up on the screen real quick for y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on, let me pull it up on the screen for y'all real quick. How many of y'all heard of this guy right here? How many of y'all heard of this guy right here? Tammuz or Tammuz, right? Tammuz or Tammuz is the son of Semiramis and Nimrod. Remember Nimrod from the Bible?
Right, yeah.
He shot the arrow up on top of the ziggurat pyramid, defying God, much in the way that his father, LSD, did. Huh? So, in ancient Babylonian lore, Tammuz was the son of Nimrod and Semiramis, right? He was born on the 25th of December, or the winter solstice, the day that was the culmination and the end, right, of the celebration of Saturnalia. Saturnalia is named after Saturn Kronos, the eater of children, deep Greek, Roman, Damon, deity god, who was known to consume the souls of children. And if you watch the movie Sinister, that is who the character Bagul or Mr. Boogie is depicted after. If you remember, it was a TV show used to come on Fox, right? Called Sleepy Hollow. Y'all remember that TV show? And one of their main assailants in there was Malak. Right? Let me pull up a picture of Malak for y'all, man, so y'all can see what this dude looked like, man. Y'all done heard this name before. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know they made a movie after him that just came out this year, Pops. I ain't know about that.
What?
They got a whole movie called Malak, right? Malak is he's depicted in many ways, man. You feel me? He's depicted as a calf in some religions, some cultures. He's presented as a reptilian entity in some. You know what I'm saying? Let me pull it up for y'all real quick. We got to lay foundation, y'all, man. It's a must that we do that. Right? And y'all see these different depictions of Malak. Right? He's presented as a matter of fact, when the children of Israel, when they had turned away from God and they was using all their jewelry to make those molten calf images, that's
right.
That's who they were depicting when they made the golden calf. The golden calf was their depiction of Malak or Malik or Malek.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? We gotta lay foundation, man. You know what I mean? This dude Malek was known as the eater of children. Right? Let me show y'all something else too that y'all probably have seen, but maybe not have seen, right? This is another depiction of Malak or Malek, right? What y'all know about the Chicago Bulls logo is actually depicting the image of Malak or Malek.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about to show it to y'all right now, man. Then this becomes a little bit clearer when you do your research into who actually founded not only the game of basketball, but specifically the team of the Chicago Bulls, right? Now, I'll pull this image up so y'all can see. This is the Chicago Bulls emblem turned upside down. And when it's turned upside down, it's giving you the depiction of what looks like a robot. Looks like a robot. And this the calf turned upside down, the bull's head turned upside down. This is the robot, right? Mendenhalling, right? Mendenhalling, which you could depict, you could say was a child or a boy or a girl, but it's just basically shows a depiction of a robot mendenhalling, or the image of what we could see as a robot mendenhalling some entity from behind. Do y'all see this image? Do y'all see this image? I said, do y'all see this image? Pop, you see this image?
I'm looking at it, yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Y'all see it right there. And this is a depiction of Malek. See, it's a bull turned upside down, right? Once you see something, you can't unsee it, man. You hear me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We had to do that real quick to lay foundation for y'all, man. So y'all could, you know what I'm saying, have an idea of where we're going with this tonight. Going the spiritual roots of Christmas, which is based in Luciferianism, Satanism, right? Through the ancient daemon gods like Molech and Saturn or Kronos. Kronos was depicted, or he was called the god of time, and you know what I'm saying, I'm about to read it up, right? Saturn was, or Kronos, he was known as Saturn in Roman mythology. And, he was known as the god of time, you know, the god of the harvest, you know, and the god of creation and all of that. But when you look at Kronos, images of Kronos or Saturn, you're going to see images like this, right? He was, like I told you, he was known as the eater of children. Right, literally. And you can look at all these images. Very disturbing, might I add. Very disturbing.
Yes, it is.
You hear me? Y'all see these images? Let me pull this one up for y'all. You hear me? All right. Why did Kronos swallow his children, and what does it signify? Kronos, or after Kronos, ascended the throne after defeating his father Uranus. Soon he was warned by prophecy by his mother Gaia. All these are demons. All y'all people who talk about y'all part of that new stuff, what was it? New age Gaia religion. That's demons, man. Gaia was a demon, right? That he would be dethroned by his own son. In order to avoid this fate, he swallowed each of his children as they were burned. The last child, Zeus, was spared because Cronus' wife Rhea handed him over to Gaia as soon as he was born. He raised him. After he grew up, Zeus confronted Cronus and killed or imprisoned him. Accounts vary, but not before Cronus had regulated or regurgitated his siblings, who, along with Zeus, became known as the Olympians. The Luciferian, spelled backwards, recycle, the recycling of fecal matter. It's all shit. You hear me? Greek pantheon, Egyptian pantheon, Cometian god. It was demons, man. And then I sit up here and thinking that this some form of African spirituality when these people, these demons. And it grinds my gears. You hear me? When I hear black people posting stuff on social media, they done tricked you into thinking we ain't even from Africa, right? From right here in good old Turtle Island, Tartaria, USA. They was on demon time. They worship called Quetzalcoatl, or they worship the entity like we call in the Black Panther movie called Khan, right? Koku Khan and Quetzalcoatl were two demons by different names. Known by Quetzalcoatl up here in America and known as Koku Khan down here in Central and South America. Same demons. You hear me? Different names, same demons. And I want y'all to look at this image of Saturn, or Kronos, the eater of children, right? Now, Saturnalia is also named after the planet Saturn, right? Which is a representation of the god Kronos, or Saturn, right? Now, if y'all remember, I showed y'all this the other day. I'm going to show y'all again, right? When you look at the planet Saturn, right? It has a hexagonal. This is so demonic, man.
It is. It really is.
It's so demonic, and it just lets you know the influence that Lucifer, Satan, the devil had on the world when he fell, right? Now, I want y'all to look at these images, man, right? Look at these images. You hear me? Now, and this is why I say the whole structure of our society is a hexagonal tetragrammaton. You hear me, Pop? A hexagonal tetragrammaton Luciferian satanic paradigm. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm about to bring this image up for y'all so y'all can see this, man. Y'all can go look into this, man. Right? And y'all
hey, son.
What's up?
Hey, son. And also, if you notice in Washington, D.C., the Pentagon is hectagon.
Yes.
The Pentagon.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I just threw that in there because you mentioned that, you know what I'm saying, how that this country had took on so many ways of dynamic forces to where that through the Greeks, you know, mythology, that a lot of that exterminated from that, you know. And that's why when you get into, like I read earlier in Jeremiah, he was saying about do not be like the heathens, you know, and how they take different objects and idolatry, you know, which where they take all kinds of things, man-built buildings of all kinds of statues and worshiping them and everything, images, you know. And if you go in any country, that's all you see all over the world. All that just ties into what you're saying about, you know, the hectagon and the different images, you know, of things that people use that really actually represents Satan.
Right. And this is one of them. This right here, this image right here is a hexagonal magnetic vortex at the northern pole of the planet Saturn, right? And this
Mm-hmm.
thing has been spinning counterclockwise for time
Right.
immemorial, right? And you asked me, this represents a portal
Right.
from the
Right.
realm of Saturn into the Earth realm, right? And y'all hear them talking about
Wormholes.
wormholes and stuff like that, right? This is
Yeah.
why they activated CERN, so they could create a more stronger link, right? A more stronger
Right.
portal or pathway for these entities, these gods from other worlds. See,
And see that, and that's what they call black holes. Notice
black
that the
holes.
term they use, black holes.
Yeah, black holes. You know what I'm saying? If y'all remember when I showed y'all that scene from Thor Ragnarok, when the Hulk turned back to Bruce Banner on the planet Sakaar, he was looking at the devil's anus, and he said, "Is that a neutron star collapsing into a Einstein-Rosen bridge?" You feel me? And that's what we have right here. We have the hexagonal vortex at the North Pole of Saturn, right? Y'all gotta tap in and pay attention to this stuff, man. You hear me? Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I wanted to read something real quick out of Matthew's 2nd chapter. It all ties into what me and my son is talking about Christmas, trying to pinpoint actually the time and the date that Jesus was born, to how that man and the system of man had tied it into Christmas. And I'm coming out of Matthew, the 2nd chapter. It says, and after Jesus had been born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, he looked astrologers. Now listen what I'm saying. I used the word astrologers before when I said in Jeremiah when he was talking about don't look up at the heavens, which was stargazing, which where astrology extended from. Now it's mentioned here in Matthew about the birth of Christ, okay? And it's saying that King Herod, okay, he was sought after because he thought that Jesus was going to be a king in the earth, you know, so he saw that. This is Satan using man, his seed of man in flesh in the earth to seek out Christ, to kill him, okay? Now, people think that Herod was just about the natural physical thing that didn't want Jesus because you couldn't be a king in the earth in flesh, you know, when there's already a king in the earth in flesh, you know. So King Herod, he was the king at this time, you know, and he was seeking out to see that if there was another king, because if Christ was the king that he thought he would be, he was so busy worrying about him taking over his empire, you know. Can't be two kings in the same earth, you know. So this is why that King Herod was seeking out the Christ child, you know. And he turned to astrologers, his astrologers. And that's the word that is using that I'm reading right here. The astrologers from the east came to Jerusalem saying, where is the one born king of the Jews? For we saw a star. We saw his star where in the east, and we have came to obedience to him, to do obedience to him. And hearing this, King Herod was agitated, and all of Jerusalem with him. All of Jerusalem. He's also speaking about his own people. All right. And they was gathering together all the chief priests and scribes of the people. Like I just said, it was also his people seeking them out too. Okay. And requiring of where is the Christ that was to be born. They said to him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for this is how it has been written through the prophets. And you, O Bethlehem of the land of Judah, are by no means the most insignificant city among the governors of Judea. For out of you will come a governing one who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod secretly summoned the astrologers and carefully ascertained from them the time of the stars appearing. When sending them to Bethlehem, he said, oh, go make a careful search for the young child, and when you have found him, report back to me that I too may go and do obedience to him. The king, they went, okay, and they had heard the king, they went their way, and look, the star had been seen where they were in the east. I'm gonna stop here for a minute because now they try to pinpoint the birth of Christ. It never said anything about Christmas or around Christmas. They don't even mention about the month that when he was supposed to be born in December. It doesn't say anything like that. And that what the sign was, that it was a star from the east. All right? Keep that in mind. And they went their way and looked, and the star that they had seen when they were in the east went ahead of them until they came to stop above where the young child was. Now, who he's referring to is, first of all, he's talking about the three wise men. Remember the story of the three wise men? When they came from different parts of the earth to come to pay homage to this king?
The scriptures never denoted any specific number. It just said wise men came from the east. Didn't say nothing about three.
Right, right. And on seeing the star, they rejoiced with great joy, and when they had went into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and falling down, they did obedience to him. They also opened their treasures and presented him with gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. However, because they were given divine warning in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed for their country for another way. Now, like I was saying to my son, it does not depict anything shown about what it has to do with Christmas, and that how that these astrologers and wise men that Herod sent to try to find the child. And they were doing what Herod had asked them to do, and they were going to report back to Herod to find out where the child was. Okay. But in the dream, angels came to them and told them, in other words, God just intervened right then and intercepted. See, that was an assassination hit right there on the child, on Christ as a baby. Because if King Herod would have found out really where he was, all he would have done was went and got him and probably ended up killing Mary and Joseph and killing Jesus Christ too. People, this is real. This is what would have happened if God would allow for that to happen that way, but it didn't happen that way. And thank God for that it didn't happen that way. Now, you also notice in the word Christmas, the first letters of those words are Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? CHIRSTMAS. Christmas. And like my son said also too, you know, when you get into this is the culture of the heathens, you know. And like I said before, that what my subject is, that it's a commercialism about Christmas, you know. And man had took it from that point way back then in Christ's day, clear up to where we at right now, that they had capitalized on that, you know. They had used Christmas, you know, saying that they represent and they serve in Christ. And it blew me away because I can never understand, and listen to me, YouTube family, how can they sit up there and say that all this is about Christ when, first of all, who really get the attention when it comes to Christmas? Who really gets the attention when it comes to Christmas? Do any of my YouTube family out there know who it is that I'm referring to and talking about, that who everything around Christmas is really centered around? I'll let you chew on it for a minute before I tell you who it is that I'm referring to. Can anybody tell me? Anybody got the idea? All right, time's up. Santa Claus. Santa Claus. Then when you get back and look at it, you see where it all ties in. Remember some podcasters back in the past that me and my son, we was doing, and we were talking about how that, in fact, the subject we were talking about was about Halloween. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about how that it all came from the saints, okay? That Christian people started Halloween, you know, that they would be praying for the dead and they would go from door to door And people would give them treats and different things like that in exchange for them coming to them from door to door. But it was all about the acknowledgement of the dead. That all ties into what me and my son talking about, even up to the point right now what we're talking about when it comes to Christmas. Same thing.
Right. Now
And I throw something else.
No, let's
Go ahead,
break
son.
down this. Let's break down this word Christmas a little bit more. Right? Mass.
Right. M-A-S. Right.
M-A-S. Mass or mastectomy.
Yeah.
Mass or assist. Right? So we're talking about a mass or assist. We're talking about cancer or cancerous, that which is cancerous. Right?
Right.
So then they added that to Christ, you know what I'm saying, to try to defile his title. See, Christ wasn't a name, that was a title. The Greek for Christ is Christos, which means oil, the anointed one. Right? YESHUA HASCHIACH, Jesus the Christ, or YESHUA the anointed one. Right? So don't get it twisted, y'all. Y'all better do your research and due diligence. That's why I tell y'all to study etymology. Go ahead, Pops.
And also, son, if you really pay attention, and that's the same way that they capitalize on Easter. See,
Easter is named after the Babylonian daemon goddess Ishtar,
right?
Which is another name of Semiramis, Tammuz's mother and Nimrod's wife.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And remember I talked about that. Go ahead, Pop.
Yeah, and I was also just going to throw in for a footnote is that the same way that they take Christmas and pose a wrap it around Christ, but it's all about Santa Claus, it's all about giving of gifts, you know. And then again, when you get into Easter, it's supposed to be about Christ, the resurrection, you know, and that has nothing to even do with that, you know. And then it's still the main subject around that is the Easter bunny. So where do Christ come into all this for real? All they do is just use Christ as a cloak for mankind to capitalize off of. And like I said, it's all commercialism, you know. And see, and this is what did Satan want people to start doing. And because actually, when you get into Christmas, when you get into Easter, like man does, and they say it's all about Christ, all it really is paganism. And all they're really doing is really worshiping the devil because he's behind all that. That's why in Jeremiah, God told Jeremiah to tell his people, do not take on the ways of the heathens. Because that's all you're really doing is that you're not really worshiping and really acknowledging Christ. Jesus said, many shall come in my name, saying that I am of the Christ. Now, that's not saying that they are Christ, but they say they are of Christian faith or Christian belief, you know. But all this still stems from out of the religious system of men, which comes from the main source is the Roman Catholic Church. Because they started all this, you know. Notice how mass is around Christmas time. Notice the activity that goes on in Rome, in the Vatican City, when these holidays comes up, you know. And it's on the footnote I wanted to share with you that your uncle told me to pass on to you, and I saw it myself on the phone earlier today, is that the Pope Vatican, he's got something saying, and he's on you can probably get it through Fox News, that he was speaking about that there are demons running around in the Vatican. Did you hear me, son?
Yeah, he already stood there and said that we're going to embrace our alien brothers, which are demons. Now, I'm going to get to that. This all falls back. All this whole thing with Christianity is all derived from the Council of Nicene headed by Constantine, right?
Right.
Who was a demon time practitioner who, you know, worshiped a god called Sol Invictus. Right, which is a horrible play on the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And in the Nicene Council was when they came up with all of these edicts for the current day, what we know Christian religion. Now, remember when I told you about the term Christianity, right? Christian was not originally denoted as a follower of Christ. Christian was a tax bracket code from the Roman Empire that they put on the followers of Yeshua so they could tax them, right? So they could commoditize the newfound religion of Christianity. What y'all know about that? So when you call yourself a Christian, you are basically cursing yourself and saying that you are a tax bracket code of the Roman Catholic Church. Right. This is why they had to go travel all the way to Egypt to pay their taxes or something like that. I think that's what they had to do in the Bible with Joseph. And they had to travel to a certain place to go pay their taxes.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? That all that comes from the Council of Nicaea and the Holy Roman Empire. Not the Roman Kingdom, the Roman Empire. Big difference. Talk to him, Pops.
And you know, son, and another footnote just to throw in there, excuse me, that's also too what they were calling themselves doing when they took the census too.
Yes.
Okay.
That's all part
of the same way. The same way that our government do it now. See, everything that what we do today in our system of man, the foundation of it was way back when in Christ's day. So that's why it says nothing new, it's up under the sun. Now, there was a point in time back there during Christ's time, too, that they also had to take census. That was a way of the Romans keeping up with the account of how many Jews was being born in the earth. That's where we get our census from, okay?
And the reason they were doing that is, like my pop said earlier, the Roman Empire was trying to find out who this so-called king of the Jews was. And by taking the census, they could get a depiction of how many children were born. This is also why Herod had put out the edict to murder all firstborn sons.
Right. 2 years and under. Right. See, so the devil has always been trying to seek out who Christ was from way back when. Even before he was even brought into the earth atmosphere, they were still trying to find out where he was at and when he was going to be born and the locality and the location of his birth so that they can get at him. You know, it wasn't so much that man was seeking to destroy Jesus Christ. It was the devil.
Right. Through man.
Because Satan knew that Christ was coming into the earth to deal with him. Ain't that something? He knew Christ was coming specifically for him. And he was trying to do all he could to stop that from happening. And that's how and why to this day, our point in time where we at right now is that every time you turn around, something is going on within the religious system of men, persecuting what they call Christians, but who they really trying to get at, and Satan is the head honcho of it all, is the spiritual body of Christ, the saints. Like my son said, that's a word that was made up and created by Lucifer through the religious system of man when you call yourself a Christian. Because in the Bible, it never mentions nothing about no Christians. Jesus never said no. He always referred to it as his people, the saints, and his spiritual church and the spiritual body of Christ. And remember that a while back when we was in Revelations, when I was telling you about that, the great harlot, the dragon, that he went after the man-child. You two family, remember we discussed that back a couple of podcasts? And that when the dragon went and tried to find the man-child that she was taking her, talking about his mother, which it was referring to Mary, and took the man-child and Joseph, when they fled into Egypt, Egypt was a form of wilderness. Okay? and flee into the wilderness to be protected from the dragon. And when the dragon saw that he could not get it, then it says that he turned back from pursuing that and came back and started pursuing the children of God. So he went after his remnant. That's us. That's you and I today. See, this thing goes far way back, and it goes deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. And when he found out that he couldn't pursue the man-child, which was Christ, it was referring to, then he started attacking his church. Now, this is what the Roman Catholic Church did. See, before it became the Roman Catholic Church, like I said before, it was the Roman Empire. And they couldn't come at the children of God and not let them know. So what they did was that they took on the form of being like the children of God. So that's how I said that's how the Roman Catholic Church was born. Okay.
Right.
Now it still goes back to where that the great harlot in the book of Revelation that it speaks of. Okay. But all this is still orchestrated by Lucifer, Satan, the devil. And as long as he can tear down and destroy the true body of Christ, through the religious system of men, which is the birth of the Roman Catholic Church, that it keeps people in darkness and it deceives people. And people think that the Roman Catholic Church is God on earth, and it's not, So they come up with all kinds of different gadgets and tricks, to keep the people deceived and in darkness. And when you get caught up on Christmas or Easter, they don't have that same attitude when it comes to Halloween, though. See what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a cloak. And they get people so wrapped up into giving gifts to each other, and they celebrating Christmas, but they celebrating the wrong way and up under the wrong institution of what really is supposed to really be about. And that's really supposed to be about the birth of Christ, And then you look at all the things that transpire from Christmas, you know what I'm saying? All the spirit and dynamic forces that behind it. Look how it affects mankind too, crime goes up, suicide goes up, depression goes up, Everybody's so caught up into trying to please each other around this holiday, giving gifts and eating and drinking and being merry, and not really even celebrating the true significance of what it's supposed to be about.
Right.
So this is what me and my son, we were just doing, just wanting to people to know, what is the true meaning behind Christmas, You should never be celebrated or be caught up into something that you really don't know the true meaning behind it.
Right.
And that's why me and him chose this. He chose the topic for this week to speak about that, And I told him, I said, "You're right, son." I said, "That's a good topic to talk about, because there's so much that stems from that, that people get caught up into this holiday, and it causes so much grief, You'd be surprised at the people that go into a depressive state over this holiday, trying to shop and give loved ones gifts, Christmas is supposed to be every day if you look at it that way, How you gonna take one day out of a year and put so much emphasis and significance around it, and then it's not even around the one that it really should be around. It's just an acknowledgement that it's supposed to be about the birth of Christ. See, they just use that as a cloak. And that's the main thing that what God was telling his people through Jeremiah, don't get caught up in the ways of the heathens, don't take on their culture, because it has nothing to do with me. And that's what me and my son says, that Christmas has nothing to do with Christ or the birth of Christ, And it's just something just to be a knowledge of, you know, and to be aware of, you know. Like I said, we're not trying to step on anybody's toes, you know, but we know that the truth will set you free, you know. And if it does change your way of thinking about Christmas, I hope that they put it in the right perspective way that you would think about Christmas, and that is truly about the birth of Christ. You know, if that's what it has to take for you to get more of acknowledgement of God and through His Son Jesus Christ, a holiday, then I'm for that too. But if it'll bring you into the acknowledgement of knowing who Jesus Christ is, yes, okay. You know, as far as all the other things and the other ways, I'm not on that. You know, I'm not into that. That's why I don't celebrate Christmas in the way that most people would celebrate Christmas. You know, like I heard my son was saying, you know, don't get me nothing. You know, and you know, because you don't partake of it. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you become a part of that, that means you believe of it. You know, you believe in it. You know, but like I said again, they put it around Christ, but they also, you know, it's all you hear about is Santa Claus. You know, I mean, they make up about a man in a white suit. I mean, in a red suit, white suit, beard, and everything, and he's on a sled. Come on, people! Now, how can you connect that in any kind of way with the birth of Christ? Shouldn't take a rocket to fall on your head. You know what I'm saying?
Now, when y'all look at this chick on the screen, this is old girl Carlunda I was telling y'all about yesterday. And y'all know my pops just said, you know, till this time of year, people be in manic states to try to go ahead and provide for their family. And I'm going to say that when the more information comes out about this young lady right here, I'm pretty sure that that has something to do with why she was wilding out in the way that she was. Did you hear about this girl right here, Pops?
No, I didn't, son. It's first time, but I'm looking at it, what you got pulled up. Yeah.
She just sat up there on the 23rd, man. She went up in the Walmart and held this lady hostage at gunpoint, and the police went up in there and killed her.
What?
Well, yeah, man. She was talking about I need a news anchor now. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what that's all about, but I'm pretty sure as more information comes out, we're going to probably see that she has some type of history of mental health issues. And I'm going to go as far as to say, when they do this research and whenever they release this information, I wouldn't be surprised if they said that she was hearing voices.
Yes, yeah.
And that's what I was talking to y'all yesterday about, the voice of God or voice to skull technology.
Right.
Where they can pump and transmit through the Wi-Fi. That can transmit images, sounds, thoughts, notions, ideas, beliefs, images into your brain. So when you think about a lot of different people who said they heard voices before they committed their heinous crimes, Nicholas Cruz, Ted Berkowitz, the son of Sam. Think about all these people who say they heard voices telling them to do crazy things. Right? Voice to skull technology, or what they call the voice of God. Go ahead, Pop.
Yeah, too. And another footnote, YouTube family, is that also, like I was saying before, that my subject was that it's commercialism. You know, it's all about money. You know, a lot of the things that me and my son talk about, like I said before, when you go through our past podcasts and what our present podcasts be about, it always turns and ties and runs right back into what we talk about from the beginning in the garden. You know, when I say about the love of money is the root to all evil. See,
not money itself,
right? But the love of it.
Big difference.
And Christmas is no different, you know, because that's what it does. You know, it gives the opportunity and the tools for Satan to use us to continue to attack man, because that's his main purpose, is calling himself getting back at God by attacking his creation, you know, especially the one that he made in the likeness and the image of him, you know. And every opportunity that he gets, you know, to do that, then he takes advantage of it. And these holidays that man had, that's just also a part of it too. Anything just to keep you off of the mind of Christ. See, this is the enemy's main purpose, is to keep you from locking into the truth of the reality of what is really going on in this matrix world that we live in. Okay? And get to the bottom line of why. So this ain't nothing but distraction.
Right.
That's all this is. And that's what the devil uses. Because like I said before, the only way he can do this, he's got to come through man. He's got to use man to make anything that what he's planning to do to destroy man. He has to use the man. And that's something, the very one that he's trying to destroy is the very one he has to use. Is ourselves. He's using us to destroy us. Come on, people, wake up.
Yeah.
Then when you get into these holidays, you know, he don't care about people getting all caught up in these holidays. He's looking out the outcome of the destruction of what's gonna come from out of this. And like I said, suicide rate goes up, crime rate goes up. People getting into depression state goes up, you know, even families turn against each other, you know.
House fires are very prominent throughout this time of the year.
Yes, not counting the accidents and just disasters and you know what I'm saying, that goes on also behind all this, you know. People going out their way to try to please other people, you know, on one day out of a year. You know, mothers and fathers, they running themselves crazy trying to get their children what they want. Their children, they get mad and upset because they don't get what they want. So it affects everybody. From our children to the adults, to the world, to individuals, to groups. I mean, if it's not coming from your heart, first of all, it's sad to me that it has to take one day out of a year for you to feel like that you got to show some love to somebody. And then even when you're doing that, you're doing it through materialistic, tangible things, you know. You don't base love on how much materialistic things that you give a person or even the value of it.
Right.
Well, I got you this, you know, because they don't give from their heart. A lot of them, when they do, they looking for something in return. If I spend $25 on you, then you got to at least spend 30 on me. See, that's the concept and the mentality. That's the effect that the devil knows that he has on mankind when he gets them all caught up into these, what they call holidays, you know. And me and my son, we just think that, you know, it's time for man to wake up to all these phony, false things that are going on in the earth to distract man from really actually pursuing and seeking what they really need to be seeking. The greatest gift that you could give somebody is the good news of Jesus Christ, what he has done for you, and the kingdom message. If you're going to give me anything, give me some good news about Christ, Jesus. Give me some good news on how I can deal with what I'm going through in my life, in this earth, you know, and how to deal with society and the things that are going on. Man is destroying man, you know, and all kind of just craziness is going on in the earth today, you know. It's not all should be wrapped up just about what you can give somebody tangibly or materialistically. That don't solve anything anyway. Half of the time when you get all caught up into this type of stuff, when the kids get their toys, they play with it for what, a week? Then they end up tearing it up and setting it aside and looking and waiting for something else. All it does is just feed that hunger for want of more of materialistic things. And like I said, just taking your mind off of the more important things that should be at hand. And I just believe that when people really know the truth about anything, you know, then they can make up in their own minds and make their own decisions on what is important to them and what's not. Then just going into this and looking at it, it opened up me and my son's eyes that it has a whole lot of more junk and negative and wicked and evil and demonic stuff behind it. That's the exposure that we wanted to bring out. not so much to condemn or to browbeat, you know what I'm saying, and to bash about Christmas, but all the inner hidden stuff that what it causes because of it. It's what me and him are exposing, you know, to YouTube family, you know, and to anybody else that having ears to hear, you know, that the damage that it really causes in the long run. And then, like I said before, it tripped me out because it's always about Santa Claus. He's the one that gets the attention and the glory out of Christmas, leaving him cookies and milk. Come on, people. People even dressing up, you know. Do you realize how big of a thing that is that they make out of Christmas? They don't put that much kind of emphasis on Thanksgiving. And I can relate to Thanksgiving being more of a spiritual concept of things than I do Christmas and even Easter. But everything is focused about this man in the red suit, you know. And really that's demon worshiping. I don't care how you look at it, people. When you get all caught up into that, you know, people take their children to go see Santa Claus, sit on his lap and talk to him. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who that man is behind that red suit. And you let your children go and sit on his lap. You off somewhere in the background. And you don't know what he could be putting in that child's ear. You know? That's how Satan works, people. That's how he works. Words are powerful. You thinking that your child sitting on his lap asking for something for Christmas and you don't know what dynamic words he putting in that child's head. That later on as that child grows up, then when he start acting strange and doing stupid and crazy stuff, you can't understand why. You got to know how the devil works. How he operates. The things and the people that he uses, because he know in the end, and when it's all said and done, it's gonna bring destruction. You know, you got children that go into antidepressant states around this time of year. The profound effect that it has on our children as they grow up. What's going on in their heads? Then when they start doing strange things, we can't understand why. You can't get paranoid about this, but you got to also not dismiss it either.
Right.
Because there's all kind of dynamic. Yeah.
I said we gotta stare this thing in the face, man. Prodigal son, what it do, man? Go ahead, Pops.
But I just wanted to share with my YouTube family that there's nothing wrong in being aware of the things that goes on around you, you know. Like I said, me and my son, we don't mean to try to bust anybody's bubbles or tear anything down or your beliefs or anything. We just like to expose the devil for what he is and bring you the truth for what it is. And hopefully that not so much that it changes your mind about what you feel or think about Christmas, but just make you more aware of that it's not what they make it seem to be about what it is about Christmas, you know, giving you false information about the true meaning of Christmas. You know, Christ never was a part of Christmas or anything that had to do with that. And that was way back in before his day. That he had Jeremiah, the prophet, to tell his people that do not get caught up in the ways of the heathens, you know.
Like my man Prodigal Son said, the Messiah never gave us commandments to celebrate his birthday.
Right. Right. And that's something to even think about too when you really look at it like it in that way, you know. Celebrating his birth, you know. His birth was never even celebrated. How was his birth celebrated? As soon as the enemy found out that he was in the earth atmosphere, his main job was to destroy him. So he never did really was able to be celebrated, you know. But it's just it's just an eye opener. That's all. Yeah, I'm seeing that image that you just popped up, son. You know,
Right.
that's deep. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's
That's
just
deep.
time for huh?
So I'm gonna go ahead and read this real quick. It said on December 25th,
All right.
people believe they were celebrating the birth of Christ, when in fact they were glorifying the birth of Nimrod, or more specifically Tammuz, right, or Tammuz, also known as Molech or Baal, right? The prophets of Baal,
Bow, right,
Balenciaga. Right, I'll be telling y'all need to study etymology. These words mean stuff, man. All right. YESHUA was not born on no December 25th, but according to Babylonian history, Tammuz sure was.
right.
So y'all need to do y'all's research, man, and see why y'all, they're hitting us with this imagery and stuff, man. Locking us, sinking and linking us to the mind of Lucifer, Satan, the devil by celebrating these so-called holidays, thinking that we somehow paying homage to YESHUA when really we're paying homage to Lucifer, Satan, the devil.
Right.
Now, hold on, let me pull this up real quick. The scriptures, where in the scriptures to say that?
And the devil has always used man to manipulate and to deceive him when it comes to about Christ. It affected the religious system so deeply to where that's what all this about is, like I said before, commercialism, you know. Even with the religious leaders in the religious system of man, you know, they don't preach the kingdom message, you know. Everything that they talk about is always related to money, some kind of type of form, shape, or fashion. They're always talking about money. And then they uses what me and my son's foundation is about, going back to the garden and the seed, you know, is that they always want to say plant a seed, you know, and the seed they talking about is money. That's not the seed that Christ was talking about, or even God was talking about even back in the day, you know. A seed, you know. But it's all about money, the love of it, you know. And that's what it stems, and that's what calls for Christmas to be such a powerful holiday, you know. The same way Halloween is a powerful holiday, made it a holiday, you know. Something so evil and wicked and dynamic, but it's a holiday. Then for sakes, they throw in Easter. That has nothing to do with the birth of Christ. You know, they give all homage to a bunny rabbit. And Easter really is, if you want to look at Easter, what it really represents is fertility. That's what Easter is all about. That's when the creation of God and nature, when you go through your different seasons. Listen to me, you two people. Summer, winter, and fall, and autumn. And around May is when everything is beginning to be new again, okay? And remultiplying itself in the earth. Nature, I'm talking about. God's creation of the grass, the trees, you know. That everything like that, it dies during the winter. You notice that? And then by the time May comes along, that's refertilization of the earth. That's what it means. It means fertile, refertilizing, fertile. Then that's when the leaves start coming back on the trees and the grass start growing and nature becomes back alive again. You know what I'm saying? Because it has to die in order for it to remultiply. Just think that the grass never stopped growing. or trees never stop growing. Just the nature of the creation of God's planet and earth, that how he has his vegetation and the greenery and everything, that if it never died and continue to just grow and grow and grow, hey, you think we got jungles and forests now? Man wouldn't have no place to build anything if that was the case. That's why man tears down things that what God created and made, and think that he can make it to where that it can't come back no more. But he can't stop that. That's a continuous cycle. No matter how many trees man cuts down, God always gonna grow trees elsewhere. Only time anything will become barren in this earth is when God says he wants it to be barren. Man can't stop it, but he capitalizes off of it. He'll cut down forestries and forests and stuff like that just so that he can build buildings. That's why Jesus said that everything that man has ever built coming down. It's coming down. He's going to clean off his earth once more. Everything that man ever done built on it and put on it since he been in the earth, God said that it will come down. Because his whole plan is to bring man back to himself in knowing who his God and who his creator is, you know, and start worshiping and serving the creator more than the creation.
Right.
See, and that's where man really fell with God, you know, because he got so caught up into himself, you know. Lucifer wasn't the only one that think that he want to be like the Most High God. You got man that actually wants to be like the Most High God in his own way, you know. Look how many followers of men them being claiming to be God and claim to be Jesus Christ. Time to wake up. It's time to wake up to the reality of what is really going on in our earth, you know, and to start acknowledging and serving the true one living God, capital G-O-D, that we need to be serving and being aware of and wanting to know of, you know. Getting back to where that we were in the garden with our first father Adam, you know, trying to reconnect back with God, the one that who created you.
Right.
And far as any celebration anyone should be doing is that when they wake up to the acknowledgement of knowing who God is, and God reaches out to them to where that they have that relationship back with God again. Now that's something to celebrate.
Right. Right.
Go ahead, son. You want to impart something, son?
Yeah. You already know, man. Everybody, man, hit that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page, and all of that. I just want to read this to y'all. The census. There goes that word. My dad just told y'all, right? Mm-hmm. This whole thing with Christmas had a lot to do with the census as well, too. Remember, I told y'all that the Christianity, or the term Christian, was a tax bracket code that the Roman Empire came up with so they could tax the followers of YESHUA, right? Mm-hmm. Now, at the census of Quirinius, that required Joseph to travel from Galilee to Bethlehem, would most likely have taken place after the fall harvest, when people were more able to return to their ancestral homes. Besides, it was customary in Judea to do their tax collecting during this period, as the bulk of a farmer's income came at this time. Right? Right. And what was Joseph's occupation?
He was a carpenter.
Yeah, but before he was a carpenter,
because that's what Jesus was. That was his craft. That was his trade. That's what Jesus learned. That's what Jesus was. Didn't they say, aren't you the son of the carpenter, Joseph?
Right.
That was his trade. He was a carpenter. Basically, a furniture designer, wood maker. He made furniture and stuff with wood and whatnot. See, most people think a carpenter is one that lays carpet. No.
Right. So when it comes to the time that Yeshua was actually born, right, it would have been close to the harvest, right? Because they said that they went to go find an inn and they couldn't find no place to stay, and they had to go stay in the back room of a stall, right, or a stable,
right? Yeah.
Somebody's farm. And at this time of the year, when they was going to pay their taxes, this was where all the farmers also went back to Bethlehem, so they could give basically a manifest of their products that they were able to sell to be taxed. And why am I saying? I'm saying all this to say that we are being told, or have been told, that Yeshua was born on December 25th when he actually was not. And we think about and talk about who actually was born on December 25th. We got Tammuz, Nimrod, right? My man, prodigal son, in the building, man. What you done set up there and said, brother? John 10:1 says that he that entereth not through the door, but some other type of way, is a thief and robber.
A thief and a robber. Yep.
How does Santa is said to enter your household? That's powerful right there, prodigal son, man.
Yeah, it really is. Coming down the chimney. Secrecy. They don't even want him to know that he's supposed to be to tell the children, go to sleep or Santa Claus won't come. Children never know when Santa comes. All up under the cloak of the dynamic forces of Satan.
Right.
Then he got on a beard, red and white suit. See, everything has its own particular significance to it. People don't look at it that way, but when you really put it up under the microscope, you're getting all kinds of clues of who really behind all that. You know?
Right.
And there's a significant reason why that everything is like it is, and even in the way that it unfolds the way it is, you know?
Right. It's all just so demonic, man. And when you start to get the eyes to see this stuff, you can't unsee it. Right? And like I always tell y'all, the greatest trick Lucifer, Satan, the devil ever did was convince people that he do not exist. Right? But now, as we see, Lucifer is making himself very well, or should I say, Lucifer, Satan, the devil is making himself very well known.
Yes, he is.
Not operating in secrecy no more.
Right.
Right. And that's why we're seeing all the stuff we seeing in our society today, because this society has been completely in the process of being completely assimilated, invaded, assimilated, and uploaded into the hive mind of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, via the smart grid, human brain computer interface. All the stuff y'all hear me talking about, man. All the stuff y'all hear me talking about, right? Dad, did you catch the show the other day when I was talking about the hatcheries and the artificial womb facilities?
Yes.
That is so demonic. And that is a straight depiction of the hexagonal tetragrammaton system, 666 system of Lucifer, Satan, and the devil. Now let me walk with me real quick, y'all, right? In the movie The Matrix, if y'all remember, man, right? In the movie The Matrix, when they were sending the Sentinels to the city of Zion.
Right. Come on.
And they sent 250,000 Sentinels, one for every human in the city of Zion. Now, fast forward to present day times, right? When we look at the books of Enoch, we look at the hidden books of the Bible that they done took out through the Vatican. And before they Vaticanized the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the Lucifer was kicked out of heaven, he fell down to earth and created the world, but he fell down on Mount Hermon, right? And he brought 200 million demons or fallen angels with him. Tap in and walk with me, y'all. Right? I'm gonna explain. Listen to what I'm saying, right? And they want to get the population down to under 500 million, according to the Georgia Guidestones, which were weirdly and oddly enough blown up not too long ago, right? Did a whole live stream on it. And on there, it said they want to get the Earth's population down to under 500 million, right? Now think about what I just said about the 200 million fallen angels that came down to the world with Lucifer, Satan, the devil. Why they got the depopulation agendas going on. And this is why they want the population to be under 500 million, so that through human brain computer interfacing and syncing and linking our brains with the frequency of the unintelligent artificial intelligence, which is the reprobated mind, which is the mind of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, holographic, digital, electronic, right? They want to assign a demon to every human on planet Earth. That's the reason why they depopulating the Earth when we get to a certain amount of number, so they can assign each human their own specific demon. Just like in the Matrix, when they said there's 250,000 sentinels, one for every citizen or person living in the city of Zion, right? And Morpheus said that is the thoughts of a machine. Or, in essence, the thoughts of Lucifer, Satan, the devil. So just think about the Matrix, the machine city, right? Assigned or spent 250,000 sentinels, one for every human in the city of Zion. Just like in our current day society and reality, they want to get the population to under 500 million so they can assign all of us a specific demon. Now think about when we're talking about cloning, when we're talking about the hatcheries with the artificial womb facility that we just talked about on Monday, just last Monday. Right now, this company can produce 30,000 synthetic grown, not born, but grown humans a year. Right, so what the plan is through cloning is to create, walk with me, y'all, synthetic humans so they can assign demons to these synthetic humans or clone.
Right.
Because they know that a lot of humans, right, are not going to go along with this stuff. And to be quite honest with y'all, it's way more of us than it is of them. Right.
Hey, son.
Talk to
another thing too. Now you brought all that up, and like I said, you know, we don't never plan too much on what we're gonna say. We basically get our topics and our subject, and then everything else is just it's as it unfolds.
Right.
You know. And you saying all that, it just gave me the thought to how that fertility right now. See, they already started that. Now they into the next phase of that with what you just showed me, that what's going on now with these things, hatchery things, okay?
Right.
But they all started with utility, with fertility places, you know, that where they take people's human sperm. Now check this out, YouTube family. Listen to this, because this is some deep stuff right here. You know what I'm saying? I said we was going to go into the rabbit hole.
Oh, we're going deep. We're going to go in. Don't make no mistake about it.
You know, because we're elevating to another level now of what's really going on in the earth, you know, and that it has to do with man. But my point, what I was bringing out, is about these fertility places they have, to where that when you don't want to actually have women don't want to have children anymore like that they were supposed to from the beginning. Okay.
Right.
And see, and like I said, me and my son, we never bash or browbeat women, but see, we trying to wake women up to understand they are Satan's main tool to be used in this earth to destroy man. Okay. That's why he went to Eve in the garden. Okay. But back to these fertility places now, you got that a woman don't even want to know who the man is. All she wants is the sperm. You don't know what's in that sperm. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm saying the seed. Because that's what it is. It's a seed. And they're going here and they get injected with somebody else's sperm and don't even know nothing about the background of that sperm. And don't know what that child gonna be or who really the child is when the child is born. Then we can't understand why we got Jeffrey Dahmer's running around here and all these mad men killings and murderings and mass murders and just the wicked, crazy stuff that is going on in the earth. If you can affect mankind, and that's what Satan is doing now. See, he was attacking man outwardly. Now he's getting to the point to where that he can have it to where that he have his own seed. He's multiplying his own seed in the earth through man. And like my son said.
Right, and one of the ways that Lucifer saying the devil's doing that is through the establishment of the hatcheries. Understand, babies born in this way under these means, they are not of the body of Christ. They are an anomaly. They are a freak of nature. They are a mutant, so to speak. They are synthetic. They are not original. They are a copy. They are imitation, a manipulation, right? Let's peep this real quick. Look at this, Pops.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. With Ectolife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past. Ectolife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others. The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year. Ectolife allows your baby to develop in an infection-free environment. The pods are made of materials that prevent germs from sticking to their surfaces. Every growth pod features sensors that can monitor your baby's vital signs, including heartbeat, temperature, blood pressure, breathing rate, and oxygen saturation. The artificial intelligence-based system also monitors the physical features of your baby and reports any potential genetic abnormalities. The pods are equipped with a screen that displays real-time data on the developmental progress of your baby. These data are sent directly to your phone so you can track your baby's health from the comfort of your zone. The app also provides you with a high-resolution live view of your baby's development. A special section in the app allows you to watch a time-lapse of your baby's growth and share it directly with your loved ones. Because babies can recognize language and learn new words, Ectolife growth pods feature internal speakers that play a
voice-to-skull technology
to your baby. Through the app, you can choose the playlist that your baby listens to. You can also directly sing to your baby and make them familiar with your voice before birth. Our goal is to provide you with an intelligent offspring that truly reflects your smart choices. Ectolife improves your experience with your baby. Thanks to the 360 degrees camera that's fitted inside your baby's growth pod, you can use your virtual reality headset to explore what it's like to
Human
be in
brain
your
computer
baby's house.
interfacing.
See what they see and hear what they hear. Using a wireless haptic suit connected to your baby's growth pod, you will be able to sense their kicks in the womb and share this experience with your friends and family members.
Whatever the Most High has created in its original form, the devil got a goddamn
With
counterfeit.
Ectolife, your baby will receive the best nutrients that can support their growth. Each group of pods is connected to 2 central bioreactors. The first bioreactor contains nutrients and oxygen, which are
Where are those nutrients coming from?
Right.
supplied to your baby through an
And what exactly are those nutrients?
umbilical cord. This bioreactor also contains a liquid solution that serves as the amniotic fluid that surrounds babies in the mother's uterus. It's rich of vital hormones, growth factors, and antibodies that sustain your baby's growth and development. A system controlled by artificial intelligence. Each baby receives custom nutrients tailored to their needs. The second bioreactor is designed to eliminate any waste products produced
Listen
by the
to
babies. The artificial umbilical cord helps the babies to release their waste products into the second bioreactor. With the help of a delicate layer of engineered enzymes, the second bioreactor can then recycle waste products and turn them back into useful nutrients.
Lucifer, spelled backwards, is recycle, the recycling of fecal matter. Shit.
Right.
In the Matrix. In the Matrix movie, they liquefied the dead and fed them intravenously to those who were plugged in freshly grown. The devil is a lie, man.
This way, the facility ensures a steady and sustainable supply of fresh nutrients to your baby. With Ectolife, miscarriage and low sperm count are a thing of the past. Prior to placing the fertilized embryo of your baby inside the growth pod, in vitro fertilization is used to create and select the most viable and genetically superior embryo, giving your baby a chance to develop without any biological hurdles. And if you want your baby to stand out and have a brighter future, our Elite Package offers you the opportunity to genetically engineer the embryo before implanting it into the artificial womb. Thanks to CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing tool, you
CRISPR-Cas9, y'all familiar with that?
can edit any trait of your baby through a wide range of over 300 genes. By genetically engineering a set of genes, the Elite Package allows you to customize your baby's eye color, hair color, skin tone, physical strength, height, and level of intelligence. It also allows you to fix any inherited genetic diseases that are part of your family history so that your baby and their offspring will live a healthy, comfortable life, free of genetic diseases. Say goodbye to the pain of childbirth and birth-related muscle contractions. Ectolife provides you a safe, pain-free alternative that helps you deliver your baby without stress. The delivery process is smooth, convenient, and can be done with just a push of a button. After discharging the amniotic fluid from the artificial womb, you will be able to easily remove your baby from the growth pod. Everything is perfectly designed so you and your partner can enjoy the delivery process. To ensure full transparency, our post-delivery free DNA paternity test helps you confirm the genetic identity of your baby.
Actually made a rubber, but they've been doing this since the early
genetically
1920s.
yours. You don't have to worry about power cuts or carbon footprint. Ectolife uses highly efficient, clean, renewable energy consisting of solar and wind power. The highly advanced pods operate with minimal energy needs, making it easy for your baby to make it to full term without any complications. And for those who want a more convenient solution, Ectolife is made accessible so your life can be easier. Thanks to our miniaturized bioreactors and long-lasting batteries,
See this
you can
stuff,
use
Pop?
Ectolife growth pods,
Yeah, crazy.
allowing you to incubate your baby in your building without the need to visit our factory. By owning your special growth pod, you will have the ability to build a happy family, one baby at a time, away from any birth complications. The concept of Ectolife facility.
This guy right here, Hamesh Al-Ghaili. Hamesh Al-Ghaili is the CEO and founder of Ectolife.
Was designed by biotechnologist and science communicator Hashim Al-Ghaili. It relies on groundbreaking research work that has been conducted by scientists and engineers since 1950s. Tired of waiting for a response from the adoption agency? Unable to find a suitable surrogate mother? Worried about pregnancy complications? Worry no more, because Ectolife got you covered.
Y'all see that?
That's crazy.
The devil is a lie. You seen that before, Pops?
Nope. See, that's the world we live in today. That goes to show you, like you were saying, how that Lucifer is more and more now exposing himself. And he's using man to do it through the evil and the wickedness of what's going on in the earth. You know, he's getting ready to try to start another war on earth with man, with his fallen spirit, with his fallen angels that came with him. Like you said, he's getting ready to give bodies to where all of them will be able to have bodies to dwell in. And he's ready to start a second war with man this time. See, the first time it was with God in his kingdom. Now he's getting ready to start a second war on earth with man. Using man. And people ain't going to be able to resist it or even be able to defend themselves against it, because they'll be dealing with supernatural dynamic forces. Same way it is with right now. These are nothing but just test pods. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at all the sick, crazy people in the world that have done just mass murdering and mass shooting. You know, where do they think all that come from? Who's all behind that? You know, them are his children in seed form, in flesh, that he's using, that he was just running a test run on. Okay? To see, like you said, voices in their heads. Every time somebody do something stupid and crazy like that, first of all, it's bad enough that they do something like that, stupid and crazy, but look who they attack. Look how many mass shootings there have been, man. It's not no more one-on-one crime, you know. It's done gotten so to where that one person to take out as many people as they can. All being set up by the devil. This is his test running, like you said, for all that what you just showed us, and you too, family. This is what it's coming down to. You know, this is what it's been exposed. This is what he's trying to do. He's really ready to try to hurt God in the worst way that he think he can, and that's having mankind now lay his own self. And it's time to wake up, man. That was deep. That was deep. For those who have eyes to see what is going on in the earth. Okay. That's why that it says in the word of God that all of creation moan and groan in pain and waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God to manifest themselves in the earth. God's spiritual church, his spiritual body, the born again believers of mankind in earth that gave and give themselves to Christ. We got a spiritual battle we get ready to fight down here that we better be getting ready and prepared for. Because you have to have supernatural power to fight supernatural power. Okay? Y'all listen to me.
Talk to
Y'all
us.
listen to me. That's why Christ gave his disciples supernatural powers. People, this stuff is real. This ain't no joke. Jesus told his disciples, first of all, let me give a little background about what happened with, and me and my son, we're going to do a podcast later on up the road too about the 12 disciples.
Right.
Give the real meaning and purpose of the 12 disciples, which became the 12 apostles. Okay?
Now let me say this
But,
real quick.
uh-huh.
The 12 tribes in the Old Testament are the 12 apostles unrevealed.
There you go, son.
The 12 apostles in the New Testament are the 12 tribes of the Old Testament revealed. I'm going to repeat that. Shout out to Larry Gators. The 12 tribes of Israel are the 12 apostles unrevealed. The 12 apostles are the 12 tribes of Israel revealed.
That all connects right with Elijah and John the Baptist, son. It all ties in.
That's why it was beautiful that Mr. O brought that up and wanted us to expound on that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And like I was saying about the 12 apostles, is that Jesus knew the supernatural spiritual war that was going on in the earth with Satan. Now, y'all listen to me, YouTube family, because I'm getting ready to give you revelation, and we can even go a little more deeper into the rabbit hole.
Talk to him.
To show you where we're at today and why and how the spiritual body of Christ and the saints today fit into all this. Now, when Jesus was dealing with his disciples, he was preparing them for the spiritual war that would be taking place in this earth between mankind and Lucifer, Satan, the devil. Because he knew they had to have power and authority. Now, in Matthew, when Jesus is training and teaching his disciples, this is what he's preparing them for. See, he was doing more than just giving them salvation and saving them from their sins. He was preparing them to be ready for the supernatural war that would be taking place in our day, in our present time, against the forces of darkness. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is all going to be played out through man. It's always been about man from the very beginning. And he told his disciples, when they were seeing him casting out devils and everything, he was exposing them to the supernatural realm and the forces of the evil of darkness right there on this planet Earth in his day to his disciples. Letting them know and being aware of the spiritual supernatural forces of darkness being present, letting him know and letting them know that Satan is alive and well in the earth today.
That's why he performed.
And he had to prepare them. I
said that's why YESHUA was performing his miracles and casting out demons so he could show man through the disciples, right, the power that he had, which is also in them.
Right, exactly. And he even told them, and this is before they even received the Holy Ghost. Because see, they couldn't receive the Holy Ghost until after he left, right? But before he left, he told them, he said, and it's in Luke, it's in the book of Luke. He said, behold, I give you power to tread on serpents. You hear what I'm saying?
Repeat that.
And on,
Repeat that, please.
Yeah. He said, he told his disciples, he said, behold, I give you power to tread on scorpions and on serpents and on devils. I give you all power over all the power of the enemy, talking about the devil. So you shall cast out demons, you shall lay hands on the sick, you shall heal the ones that are bound by demons. He said, you shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. He was inputting into them supernatural power already that they had. This is his 12 disciples. Because he was sending them out to all four corners of the earth to speak, to preach the gospel, the good news. And he wasn't sending them empty-handed because he knew that they were going to deal with demonic forces.
Mm-hmm.
So he prepared them and he gave them the power. He said he gave them power to cast out devils. And not only that, said, but you have power over all the powers of the enemy. He was telling his disciples in plain English that you got more power. You got all your power, have all the power and over the power of all the power that Lucifer, Satan, the devil have. Grab this, YouTube family, because this is real.
Think about that. Think about how powerful that is, man. Think about how powerful that is. And now when you think about that right there, think about all the things that Lucifer, Satan, the devil throws at us, right? That should let you know the significance and the actuality of our true power. Because if we wasn't so powerful, you think it would be going through the messages that they're going through, human brain computer interfacing, metaverse,
right.
Digital DNA downloading, storage, quantum computing, genetic modification, genetic and biological, physiological upgrading and engineering, synthetic humans. Would they be going through all these different things to distract us and to keep us synced and linked into the matrix? Do you think if we was weak, that LSD will be going through all these measures to cut us off from the source, which is YESHUA, HASCHIACH, YAHARASHAD? You hear me?
That's true. That's right.
So with that being said, y'all, don't make no mistake that you have power. You just got to remember that you do.
And not just power that where you think that you got mind power. We talking about spiritual, supernatural power.
Right.
The same power that Jesus Christ had when he was in the earth, that where he could raise the dead, that he could lay hands on the sick. He didn't even have to lay hands on the sick. He just spoke them well. He was the spoken word.
He was the word. Listen, he said, Lazarus, come forth. Now,
yes, he did.
If he didn't say Lazarus come forth, shout out to Larry Gators, man. If he didn't say Lazarus come forth,
come on with it, son. Come on with it.
Well, YESHUA, if he didn't say Lazarus come forth, if he didn't denote and specify who he was talking to, when YESHUA said come, if he just would have said come forth,
every dead thing about there would have came up out of there.
Everything that was dead in the earth would have came forth.
Sure would have.
That's powerful, right? That's why there's power in a name or the name. He said, Lazarus come forth, right? Pay attention.
And you too, family. That's why me and my son come and have these podcasts, because, like I said, it's time for us to wake up and realize who we really are.
Yes.
Okay. You're not just flesh and blood and bones. You're spirit. And Christ knew that his body, his church, his spiritual body, his saints, his chosen people, because we're his chosen people in these last days, okay? That he know that we will be and would be dealing with supernatural forces. He knew we would be dealing with the devil and his fallen angels with him, which became demons. He knew that we would have to deal with them. Because the same way that the devil manifests himself in flesh, that's also God's people manifest themselves in flesh. And even though because you see it outwardly that it's a natural physical thing, it's the inner thing that you're not seeing, that it's the spiritual battle and war that is going on still. And that's what we fighting. Because see, that's how he's fighting. He's using man to do what he wants to do in the earth. And Jesus knew that. So that's why he gave his children power to be able to fight the devil in the earth. Okay? No, you're not going to fight him like you can see him. You can see him spiritually. In the spirit, you can see him. But in the natural physical realm, you're not going to see him like that with the natural eye. Whenever violence goes on like it does, and the killings and the crazy things that goes on that man does to man, what you think is the main source and power behind that? It's the spiritual supernatural forces of Satan and evil demons. And that's the only way you're going to see it, that it has to be manifested through the flesh and outwardly, physically. That's why when you hear about a person do mass shootings, that's the spiritual realm of darkness of demons working, manifesting themselves. That's what it means by when it says manifesting themselves. That's how you can see them. For those who have spiritual eyes to see, the world, they just say, oh, he crazy. That guy just went crazy. He went loco. No, he ain't went crazy. Them the demons in him that is working and operating in him to make him do those things. Because it's got to have a body to do it through. People wake up. That's why God is losing so many souls. It ain't about the flesh, but it's the souls that he's losing. The devil is prematurely stopping souls from being saved. All souls gonna all go back to God anyway. But it's the way that God wants them to come back to him. Jesus told his disciples, greater works that y'all see me do, don't marvel at it so much, because ye gonna even do greater works. When I go back to my Father, he automatically told them that he gave them power and all the power over the devil. And that we would be able to heal and cast out devils, lay hands on the sick, raise the dead, make the blind see, not just physically, but spiritually also, people. That's what he was speaking about. But when you get physical sight back, Jesus was talking about the spiritual sight. That you can open up their eyes spiritually. Now he did that to the 12 because that was the first foundation of the body of his church. Was his 12 disciples. He said, now I'm giving this to you to be able to do now. He said, but when I be able for you to see the power of the Holy Ghost, he said, I got to leave first because it was in him. Oh, revelation, people, revelation right now. That's why they had to wait till he ascend back into the spirit realm, because the Holy Ghost was already in him. So he couldn't give it to them. That's why he said, when I go back up to my Father, I immediately send it back down to you, because he won't have no use for it no more in the earth, in his flesh, in the body. So he's going to send them back down to be in them. But he still gave them the power to go and do those things in helping mankind. Then they all went out. Some came back. And they was boasting about to him how that when they did just what he said that they could do, giving them the power, that they casted out devils. They laid hands on the sick. They opened the eyes of the blind. And they were so happy and excited about it when they done that and shared that with him. You know what he told them? Don't get all happy and rejoicing over that because you saw. He said, I saw Satan as like lightning. As light falling down out of the sky. People, y'all know what that means? When his disciples went out and did what he gave them the power to do, he saw them bringing Satan down. He said, I saw it. He said, but don't rejoice over all that. He said, rejoice that your names are written in the book of life. You're the ones that I'm going to use to build my church, my spiritual body. That's one of our main purposes and our reasons why we're down here. Those that who come to Christ, those that who give their life to Christ, those that who are born again and receive the baptism of the Holy Ghost. God is preparing us to deal with these demons and Satan here in the earth and on the earth, to help free the rest of mankind. And why? For the main reason, so God can get back the spirit part of him he put in Adam in the garden. Because that's all he wants back is his spirit. Don't care nothing about this flesh. And as long as that the enemy can keep you preoccupied in your mind on other things that don't mean one iota of nothing, then he's doing his job. That makes him being able to be manifesting himself and doing what he want to do in the earth, constantly destroying man.
Talk to him.
Jesus said, I come down here to destroy the works of the devil.
Right.
That's what he told them. That's why I came down here. And now I'm passing it on to you.
He wasn't coming down here to be nice, man. Even though he was called the Prince of Peace, he wasn't down here to be nice, man. He wasn't down here to be cool. This is why I get so kind of perturbed when they try to depict YESHUA as being this soft, punk, lily spine, jelly spine type person, man, when this dude was nothing of the sort, man. Yeah. So, Pops, in our closure, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, man. Go ahead and leave them with some closing words before we get on up out of here, man.
All right, my YouTube family, like I always say, it's always a pleasure. It's always fun to talk with you all and to share with you all. You know, I hope this been an eye-opening podcast, you know, on Christmas Day. You know, I hope from this point out that it'll give you a more revelation and an understanding of who you are, what you are called to do, and what your job is, you know, and send the revelation and send the reality of what is really going on in our earth and the powers that be and the powers that we have to fight and defeat and to free our fellow man and to set those souls that are bound by the enemy free, as well as we ourselves are being free. I hope that you continue to have a blessed week to coming ahead. We're working on something even more deeper and more revelation next Sunday and bringing in the new beginning of the new year. More so than that, the fact it's a new year and a new year, but a new beginning for you to start all over again in your life or wherever that you want to be. All those things that you don't want no more in your life, that you can leave it behind. It's just symbolic meaning, people. You know what I'm saying? It only holds the value of it as much as that it is, and that what you make it is to mean to you. You know, when they call New Year's resolutions, okay? That's man-made stuff, I believe it is. But it's just all about in your heart when you decide to say that the things that you have been through and experienced and the way that you are about yourself, that you want to get away and do away with all that, you know, and start new again with yourself, within yourself, okay? And we'll touch more on that next week, but that's what basically it's going to be about. And you continue to have a blessed week that's coming ahead, ushering out the last of this year and bringing in the beginning of a new year. And I wish you all the best. God be with you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'm out.
All right, Pops, man, I'll talk to you, man. You have enjoy the rest of your evening, man, and I love you, man. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? You did your thing as I know you was going to do, and I appreciate it, man. I love you, man.
All right, you too, son. Goodbye, YouTube family.
So, yeah, man, y'all know what it is, man, how we do it over here at A Real Talk, Spiritual Roots Sundays. Me and my pops just broke down the spiritual roots of Christmas, aka Saturnalia. You know what I'm talking about? Make no mistake. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about Christmas, you know, this is not the celebration of the birth of YESHUA, HASCHIACH, YAHARASHAD. No, it is not. It's actually celebrating the birth of Nimrod or Tammuz or Tamaz, demons. You hear me? So, you know what I'm saying? It's always right and exact for me and my pops to break these things down to y'all. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. You know what I'm saying? To be able to sit up here and have these conversations with y'all and break these things down to y'all and give y'all more clear perspective on what the actual words of the scriptures are actually saying. Right. And next week, next Sunday, we getting straight to it. You know what I'm saying? New year, new beginnings. It's going to be beautiful. So make sure y'all tap in and walk with us, man. Tomorrow night, we going in. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow night, we right back at it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be discussing a powerful episode tomorrow. Powerful topic. We're going to be getting into it tomorrow night. We are going to be discussing, right? What is the original purpose of the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America? We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that tomorrow. Y'all can please believe that, and it's gonna be a beautiful thing, man. So make sure y'all tap in and walk with us. Y'all see it scrolling across the screen. You know what I'm saying? Click on the like button. You know what I'm saying? Smash the like button, man. Share on your social engineer, click on the bell, subscribe to the page, man. Tell everybody come tap in with your guy, Virgil Berry. That's with the facts. We going in, chopping up heavy game, dropping these jewels. 2023, you know what I'm saying? Real ones, we coming to take YouTube over. All this fake shit that you niggas got going on out here, we taking that shit over, man. No more non-content creating people. We want straight content creators who actually doing so, who actually creating actual content that's having life-changing, thought-provoking effects on people. Not this fuckery that we've been seeing here lately. So, you know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for coming out tonight. It's been an honor and a privilege. Me and my pops, we love to teach. We absolutely love to teach. You hear me? This is what we're here to do, and this is what we're going to continue to do. You know what I'm saying? We're going to lead the show with my man Flipperachi again. I think Flip did a beautiful job playing this song, you know what I'm saying, making this song. It's a beautiful song, you know what I'm talking about. And even more, I'm going to show y'all the video this time, and we ain't caring about no copyrights or none of that shit, man. Lil Flip ain't tripping anyway. He a real one, you know what I'm saying. So tap in and walk with us, y'all. This is Lil Flip's new song, God Got Us All, man. You hear me? Which is very true, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's Christmas, man, for the lack of a better term. Hope y'all had a beautiful evening with your family and friends and loved ones, eating and, you know, just celebrating being with each other and spending time with each other. And, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all tap in and walk with us, man. We going in tomorrow night. Everybody's welcome. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you, Niquay, baby. You know what I'm saying? We love y'all too, man. We love you too, baby. You hear me? We love all y'all. That's why we do what we do. You know what I'm saying? We do what we do because we love y'all. You know what I'm saying? We love y'all and we're in love with y'all, but not in love with y'all in the way that y'all might think, but in love with y'all the way that Yeshua was in love with y'all. You hear me? It's a beautiful thing, man. Tap in and walk with us. We got Lil Flip's new song, God Got Us All. This is the video featuring Lachey Love. Shout out to Flipperachi for making this song. I always have respect for him. I always knew he was going to be successful. And he's one of my inspirations as an artist, man. A lot of people got something to say about Lil Flip. But Lil Flip, I think, is one of the most successful artists in our generation. You know what I'm saying? One of the most prolific, one of the most influential. You know what I'm saying? So tap in and walk with us. Enjoy the rest of y'all evening, man. Hit that like button on the way out and all of that, man. We love y'all, man. Tap in with us tomorrow night. We're going in. What is the original purpose of the Second Amendment? We're going in, man. Thanks, y'all. Holler back at us, man. Real Talk Podcast. Stop the facts. Let's go. Cool countries. Uncle Diggity, what's good, man?
That'll be $15.
Don't worry about it. I got you. And don't forget, God got us out. You welcome. I was the bridge to y'all problems, but y'all took me for granted. We traumatized in the hood, dog. Look at the damage. I've been grinding my whole life. I ain't nothing like you. It's 24 hours in a day. You ain't got nothing to do. I sacrificed my show money just to bring y'all around. Y'all was holding me back instead of holding me down. Y'all be talking behind my back, but in my face you my brother. But you'll never know my pain until you lose your mother. This whole industry is fake. I wish we spend more time. I blew the brains out the coop. That mean I lost my mind. My reality is I can dictate my salary. Think about it. Only bad came to those who challenged me. Yeah, Jesus walked and Jesus wept. He walking with me. I see the steps. The pandemic came. We barely made it through. I'm a living testimony of what God can. When your pockets get low and your bills stacking up, and the hours that you put in, it ain't add up. God got us all, man. God got us all. Look, I've been there. I've done that. The battle with the devil, I won that. God got us all. God got us all. To all the people in Jackson, Mississippi with bad water, I just sent a truckload of clean H2O. God got us when you feel like adversity starts to win. They say when you rap about God, it take away from your spin. Okay, well I hope it take away from my sins. I'm signed to me, so my whole record label go win. One of my partners going through it, I'm gonna show them the way. And when I help, this ain't the type of stuff I throw in your face. I gotta give that love flip, cause I done carried the cross. I'm watching out for Jezebels trying to marry the boss. My granny had me in the church, I praise God for work. And I don't claim to be perfect, I still get my dirt. Yeah, Jesus walks and Jesus loves. Put the guns down. You need a hug. Protect your mental health. That bring inner wealth. God protect you from these things. When your pockets get low and your bills stacking up, and the hours that you put in, it ain't add up. God got us all, man. God got us all. Look, I've been there. I've done that. The battle with the devil, I won that. Cause God got us all. God got us all. I know He got us.
What's that? Instagram? You're out over there. No more, no shorts tomorrow. You get your check on Friday. That's it.
Every day, every way, God got us all. Each and every day, I know He got us all.